So it's N7 day, and with it we got a brand new teaser. If you remember, we received one around this time in 2020. How honored we should feel to get one 3 years later. Mass Effect fans, they haven't shown much, but we're going to deep dive into it nonetheless because, well, we're used to living off scraps. Also, the project director Mike Gamble teased this photo as well as some other things, so this video will go through what we know so far about the next Mass Effect, its potential release time, and more. So the 2020 teaser didn't show us much, but what it did confirm is that the next Mass Effect is set after the events of Mass Effect 3. This much is clear as an older Liara is digging through the snow, finds what we can assume is the scraps of Shepard's N7 armor as she smiles and the Mass Effect logo fades in with the text, "Will continue." Why is Liara searching in the first place? Well, Bioware have stated that Shepard's story is over. Mac Walter, series writer, has stated, "Well, I can't get into details, but the idea is that we've agreed to tell a story that doesn't relate necessarily to any of Shepard's events at all whatsoever." Now, this is pretty conclusive and makes a lot of sense. They want to set it in the future and start telling their own story. This is not to say Shepard's story and the conclusion of his actions won't have a lasting effect on the universe. In fact, I can almost guarantee that Mass Effect 4 will mention the trilogy in multiple occasions. Considering long-lived characters like Liara might still be around, you can most likely deep dive with them into their takes on the previous events. Now, another point against Shepard's return is that we've seen a new protagonist. Cut to the latest teaser and we see a new character. A purposely gender and feature ambiguous N7 agent, something you can project yourself into. Though this agent is different from the typical walking gun rack that's Shepard, they're more sleek. They have a single pistol and a cool flared up coat. Could the next protagonist be a different kind of hero? The Reapers are defeated, but there has to be conflict and tension. There has to be antagonists, but it doesn't need to be a universe-ending scale of the Reapers. Perhaps our hero is the hero we need, one working as a space James Bond instead of a space Rambo. That's captured more in a tease by Mike Gamble, showing off the protagonist's very cool cosplay-worthy jacket. I'm calling it now, these jackets are going to sell out and everyone at PAX is going to be cosplaying as Shepard 2.0 or whatever we should call this. If you zoom in, you see a scene at a bar. It has a very Omega Purgatory vibe splashed with a little ME3 bar, but this isn't any bar that we've seen in the trilogy. You can see Asari, Krogan, humans, Turians, Solarians, Vorcha, and even a Hannah. Are they teasing something here, or is it just a scene from a setting in a game? I think the latter. They're saying, look, this is set in the Milky Way, the usual suspects are here, life found a way. Cut to the teaser. This is all in-game footage as confirmed by Mike Gamble. It's looking great, but we've come to expect that from the Mass Effect titles. It's no doubt intentionally dark and washed out to keep the video mysterious, but if you up the brightness, you can see the model is seamless. Now, I'm going to do something, and this is not just to pad out time, I promise, but listen to the audio again without the footage and tell me below just how many familiar sounds you hear. So at the start you hear the ambient ticks behind the footsteps and music. You first heard this in Mass Effect 1 when in areas without music to add some tension to the exploration. The music itself builds into the Mass Effect theme's jingle. We have a lot of typical gravitas to the music. The agent pulls out their pistol and we hear it unfold as the agent walks off to the classic title screen tune. This teaser's title pops up to a different tune though. Listen to it. It has more of an intrigue feel to it, further adding weight to the next Mass Effect's direction. Now, right at the start of the video, we see something in the shadows. If you watch it closely, it looks to be turning its head. I put it to you that it's a Krogan. This is a big reveal that a Krogan could be in a Mass Effect game, but there must be a reason why they're here at the start of the trailer. Does this mean we're getting a Krogan crewmate? We better, it's not Mass Effect without one, and this isn't really a big reveal. Come on Bioware, we need more than this. Now these containers have a 9 written on the side, but they don't contain, pun intended, much else of note. Why are they here? This trailer was purposely built. Perhaps they're set dressing, but maybe there's some hidden meaning. I quickly went back before making this video to Mass Effect 1, 2 and 3 to see if I can find something similar, and yes, there are containers much like this, but I couldn't find a purpose beyond set dressing. If you have any ideas, let me know below. Now we see the protagonist walking towards a ray shield, and outside is a ship with its ramp down on a hazy yellow atmosphered world. The ramp is in the middle of the ship, so it's not the same as the first we saw in the 2020 teaser with Liara. Bioware have a very typical way of designing their protagonist ships. They're normally long and sleek, and are purpose designed to represent the protagonist and their journey. So unless the protagonist has a lot of journeys to the fridge, this block of a ship is probably not theirs. Revealing the ship and the protagonist would be revealing too much now, wouldn't it? Now we come to when this game is releasing, and I'm sorry to say, but historically when a Bioware game, or really any game of this scale, is in minor teasing in engine, zero gameplay phase, it's a minimum few years away. There isn't likely a date in mind for even Bioware, so it's unlikely we will get one soon. Really, all I can say is, fellow Mass Effect fans, be patient. A quote from Bioware back in March was, "The Mass Effect team is now assisting with Dragon Age Dreadwolf development, while a small core group led by Mike Gamble continues pre-production work on the next entry in the sci-fi series. So the pre-production work will be drastically slowed down while a lot of Mike's staff help finish off Dragon Age Dreadwolf. If the leaked gameplay of that game is anything to go by, I'm suspecting it's having troubles of its own. Alongside the current troubles and controversy at Bioware, it's been rough to say the least. Now, as you know, I'm a massive Effect fan, and even my channel's theme is based around it. I have high hopes for the future and remain cautiously optimistic. You won't find the channel with more insight into the up and coming next Mass Effect, I absolutely guarantee it. So be sure to follow for everything Bioware. Ciao friends.